Good morning. Rise and freedom. I'm Austin Peterson. You're watching and listening to the Wake Up America show, and today it's a very special day because Stephanie joins us on set here.
And it's your birthday.
Oh, that little thing? Who, me?
Happy birthday.
Well, thank you, darling. Thanks for dressing up the set today and for joining us, gracing us with your presence.
I took off the whole day for you.
That's so nice.
I blacked out my entire schedule, and I said I'm spending the day with my husband.
Yes, well, thank you very much. Happy birthday, Mr. President.
I remember this brings me back to the cringeworthy video I made back during your U.S. Senate campaign. Mm-hmm. We used to have this, it was like a Facebook page where only like the OG of the OG could post like music related things, and so I sang that song by Marilyn Monroe to you, and I guess all the signs were there.
They certainly were, Stephanie. They certainly were. Welcome to the Wake Up America show. I'm your host, Austin Peterson. It's going to be a little more laid back. We still got the judge today. Yes. Big brain time, right? And we're going to do a reaction video. I've got Sean Hannity interviewing Trump and Elon together, side by side.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah, it should be an interesting interview. We've got the whole thing. A few sort of clips here and there, some oddness. But it's Wednesday, it's my birthday, so we're just going to kind of, have a little more low-key, perhaps, than usual.
Yeah.
So I hope people aren't too disappointed, but I'm
People
sure
should be happy you're even working on your birthday. I usually refuse to work the whole day on my birthday.
Yes.
I'll do maybe a couple therapy sessions, but other than that, it's my day.
Yes. Fiery Waco, thank you very much for joining us today. It's nice to see you. 1981 Luke joining us.
Isn't that our friend Luke?
Yeah, that's Luke Mills.
Hello,
That's
Luke.
our buddy. Yes, it is.
I'm so excited for you and your new job. I envy you.
I know. Congratulations.
I wish I could work with goats all day.
I think he was supposed to. Like have his orientation yesterday, but then I think the weather canceled everything just like it is. You can actually see the winter weather outside the window there with Stephanie, right behind Stephanie. Did we find out are the Jefferson City schools closed? Because that means no karate tonight for us. But
I would assume so.
I wonder what the weather's like for people around the rest of the country. Would love to hear your thoughts on what's going on around the world today. You can send us a text at 573-319-1586. That's 573-319-1586. Waco says, did my rant go through? I didn't see any rants just yet.
That's sweet. And I would like to call an unofficial money bomb for Austin's birthday. So please send in your rants. Go to wakeupAmericaShow.com/support. Donations, I think, in my opinion, would mean the world to Austin today.
Well,
so let's wish him happy birthday and give him a gift of liberty.
Ah, that's a very nice gift. Yes. Those you know how we're always talking about how worthless those Federal Reserve notes are, those fractional reserve banking notes. If they're so worthless, you can just give them to me.
Just throw all your dollars out.
Just bless them. Bless me with something. It's nice to see Dad Bod Baboon, Barney Stiles, as well as John Rail, Caleb Vanderfelt's T-Mill 22. That's our local friend. McMurdon. Hi, good morning. Nelson 65 is with you. We miss you, Nelson. And
we do.
In Jam 77, Sign of Jonah, Jose MMA, Bruce Burt Whistle, and all of our friends over in the chat. Good morning, guys.
All familiar names. I've talked personally to, I think, all of them, with the exception of a few.
Yes. Some people are saying, John says his rants are getting rejected. Well, the good news is, I have no idea. There's been all kinds of glitches with Rumble lately. So don't forget that you can always go to wakeupAmericaShow.com/support. That's wakeupAmericaShow.com/support. People are asking about the microphone levels because apparently yours is a little stronger than mine. I turned yours kind of way up today. Right, and then it's
everyone.
off on that, but it's okay. I mean, it looks what they're telling us we should do. We are doing over there. You can see it's the best we can do visually while also being live and producing this thing.
I'm glad we have an audience of audio engineers.
We appreciate
with
that.
us.
Exactly. They're all here. Nelson65 says, happy birthday. Miss you guys too. He just donated $10. And
also, I guess the rants are working.
They are working,
okay.
Yes. And you can see whenever you do a rant, it pops up in the top of the screen as well. We've got a fun little We've got a fun little app there that does that for us now. So it's great. The phone is blowing up this morning, with the actuals. Your mom sent me a nice text.
And my mom donated a nice amount of money to our show.
I saw that yesterday.
Yes.
Thank you, mother-in-law. Matt Unruh as well messaging me. Angelo Pacheco, Vinny Club, and Ron Beadle. Nice to see you guys. Sina Jonas says his rant got rejected by Rumble. Sorry, guys. No idea.
That's why we have our website, wakeupamericashow.com/support, because we actually get to keep every dollar that you donate there. On Rumble, we get a portion of what you donate. So honestly, the best thing to do is wakeupamericashow.com/support.
And while you're there, why don't you just become a monthly supporter? Huh?
Well, yes.
We are kind of consumed. I mean, people kind of don't realize the amount of work that goes into making this whole ecosystem work. So it's like yesterday, we had to figure out how to create certain segments of lists to make sure that our email strategy is working, and then the text messaging that goes out. We don't want to send it to the whole list. Our analytics are not looking good on our email in marketing. Robbie made it work. Thanks, Robbie.
Robbie, thank you. We can't wait to see you in Washington, D.C.
Yeah, bud, it's gonna be fun. But I mean, we're just working our tail feathers off trying to make all of this stuff work. The whole network, the merchandising, and to add new clients. And to manage, Texas and their business and stuff, and try and onboard new clients on that business. So, the financial contributions, 5, 10, 15, 25 here, there, sometimes even more. It really makes a difference, guys. Helps keep us going, because sometimes we look at our bank accounts a month, we're like, oh, shit. It's true. It's tough. It's a tough business. But, a lot of the money that I make, I reinvest back into the business, right? So it costs a lot of money to run it. So we're just grateful for all of your financial support, guys. It means a lot. It's not like one guy sitting in a room with a camera. It's one guy sitting in a room with 1, 2, 3, 4 cameras, a wife, podcast, microphones. Very expensive.
A baby. That's right.
Dad Bod says, what portion of rants do you get to keep from Rumble versus from YouTube? It's a little more. YouTube takes a little more, but we're not monetized on YouTube until March 14th. That's when our strike comes off of our account.
Will YouTube even let people donate right now? Will they accept donations? Okay, good. Because I'm like, if they're going to accept them and then just keep them for themselves, that would be mean.
No. And that's why we're a Rumble first community, because only Rumble has supported us. Only Rumble has never demonetized us. Only Rumble has ever taken the time. I mean, social media, no customer support. There's nobody to talk to. Like, I have an actual representative at Rumble that I can contact and say, hey, I've got a problem or whatever. They reached out to me after I got demonetized on YouTube to help support the show and said, we love to promote you and all that. So we're big time Rumble fans over here. And that's why the For Liberty Network is powered by locals, which is part of the Rumble Network.
That's something that Twitter will never do.
Yep. Kermode Bears, he donated $5. Thank you, Kermode.
Thank you, Kermode. I had a nice chat with you recently.
That's right. Isn't it nice? We're glad to have all of our friends joining us live this morning. We are going to talk a little bit about the news, and I do have some clips to react to, and we do have Judge Napolitano on the show today. So we'll talk about that. The judge is going to talk to us a little bit about the Democrat-led effort to try and block the Department of Government Efficiency, DOGE, from being able to have access to like Treasury records, Social Security records, and all this stuff. Basically denying the ability of the government to be able to do its job. They're trying to. It's lawfare, they call it. And there's nobody better than the judge to talk about that, as well as whether or not the president is going to be able to kind of get away with firing people. And the question is going to be, how you fire someone matters, or why you fire someone matters. Why you fire someone matters when it comes to the government. If you fire them for doing a terrible job or not being good at their job, that's legal. But if you fire them for political differences, that's illegal, apparently. So it's been litigated before over this question. So it'll be interesting to see how that shakes out.
I've always been at an at-will workplace where they can fire you for any reason.
Right. But the government has these things called civil service protections that they put in place. The unions negotiate for these things. Another good reason for us to abolish federal unions.
I mean, They can just do the loophole and say they're firing you because of how you're working and not because of political reasons. You can hide it pretty well.
I think they should. I agree. I just got a text message from, I shit you not, the White House that said happy birthday.
What? The White House?
I'm not going to say who it is, but you know who it is that we know who's working in the White House this morning, don't you?
Oh, that's so cool.
So this text literally came from the Oval Office.
Oh my goodness.
Cool, right? That's fun. All right.
Gosh.
Yeah, thanks, man.
You know, when someone has such a busy schedule, working with such cool people, and they remember you, that is awesome.
I know. Isn't that fun? Nice.
That is.
Makes me happy. Never gotten a text message from the Oval Office. Today's my very first one. Thank you guys for joining us here on the Wake Up America show. We appreciate you guys being a part of it. Again, if you're having problems making Rumble rants, don't forget, wakeupAmericaShow.com/support. We've got a new friend joining us today.
Ooh.
Well, we've actually got a couple. One is Fiery Waco, who I think he sent me an X message yesterday. I wasn't able to read it.
Waco, Texas?
I think so. Fiery Waco. Well, that's kind of a little joke there. 3 little birds on my doorstep. Title 7 of the 1964 Civil Rights Act protects us at will workplaces, writes 3 little birds. Thank you, 3 little birds at our doorstep, singing sweet songs.
Yeah.
Melodies so far gone, and they say, this is my message to you.
I used the Civil Rights Act of 1964 actually to get out of taking certain vaccines at my old job.
Yeah. No vaccines.
Because nobody can question your religion.
Well, they can, but...
No. If it's my religion, it's my religion.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. In Missouri, it depends on your level of employment. Over a certain level, you are at will of the governor. Well, thank you very much. Every little thing gonna be all right, says 3 little birds. Yeah, man. Yes, it is. I want to play this clip. This is Alex Karp. He's the CEO of Palantir, which is kind of it's really shady.
Oh, outfit. The bike, the Palantir bike. No. Oh no,
you're thinking Peloton.
Oh, Peloton. My brain is in exercise mode. Look at that. We've been exercising.
Palantir is a company.
I thought I was going to sound so smart because I knew who he was.
Isn't that funny? Whenever you think you're going to sound, usually it's a rule, not just you, but anyone. Whenever you think you're going to sound really smart, you usually end up saying something kind of stupid. It happens. It happens, Steffi. Hi. Palantir Technologies, it's a publicly traded company that helps businesses and governments analyze data. So it does, it's like a lot of big data. It helps like government make decisions. It's information. It's kind of shadowy, shady group. The guy who runs it's this guy named Alex Karp, and he's kind of like a big wig in Silicon Valley. And he is more, you might say, on the left.
He certainly looks like he is.
Yes. But I thought it was interesting when he was talking about the Department of Government Efficiency, DOGE, and what they're trying to accomplish. He kind of considers himself to be a little bit more on the left. Here's what he had to say about DOGE and the progressive left's attempts to subvert what DOGE is doing.
Look, what I don't like about what's going on is I just view this as, well, let's watch the Democratic Party commit suicide. And like, I've been a Democrat most of my life. I kind of view myself as outside it, but I don't like watching the Democrats just commit suicide. And what I see is most of the country doesn't really, at this point, given the fraud, waste, and abuse we know is there, 90% of the country is like, get rid of that fraud, waste, and abuse. And I just view this as yet another example of the progressive left boxing themselves into a suicide dance. Now, what the progressive left should be doing is saying, okay, Elon, you're clearly the most qualified person in the world to do something like this. We want to dialogue with you about how you're doing and what are you doing. I don't believe that's actually what happened. And again, I like Elon. I know I think he's obviously the most important builder in the world. And I just think, if you want to say my former side, I don't believe that they're actually engaging. I think it's like another dance where I'm supposed to say, of course, like whatever. It's like there's this one issue where I might, and then you get boxed into you cannot solve the problem. And then I would say, what is the biggest problem in this society? Biggest problem in this society from my perspective is legitimacy of our institutions. Why aren't they legitimate? They're not legitimate because, okay, do any of you really believe that 99% of your taxpayer dollars are being spent? But last and not least, and probably arguably most importantly, there's two revolutions happening. One is transparency and one is AI. Okay, so why is it that we do not know where every penny of our money goes? Like, how do you explain that to people? And by the way, slightly more technically, what large language models do is they mean you can go into the contracts and see exactly what happened. So in the past, we couldn't do this. Now we can. The right response is, we want this to happen. We want to happen. We want to be involved in the dialogue. The real response is, it feels like the people criticizing Elon don't want it to happen. And this.
Do you get like kind of what he's saying there with this conversation, like where this is going?
So, he was kind of all over the place. So it was hard to really focus in on like one idea he's talking about. But
right.
Isn't he saying like everybody should want to know where your money is going? Mm-hmm. But the Democrats are blocking that. They're saying we don't want to know.
Yes. So he's like he's talking about a revolution that's going on, right? Two revolutions. Mm-hmm. One of them is with AI. And the other one is with transparency when it comes to transparency in government. So the question is, will the left oppose transparency in government? And if so, for what reason? Why would they oppose transparency in government?
Right.
And the way that AI connects to all of this is that now that we have the ability to crunch all of these, this large data sets, large amount of data, we can do queries on data that we couldn't do before. So, for example, if there's a problem with a government contract that is like, go find out if we're paying $10,000 for hand sanitizer, a bottle of hand sanitizer, then we can ask a question like that, just like you and I do when we use ChatGPT to help us with our business. You could ask a question like that to like government procurement contracts, and it can go in and find all that information before, right? Whereas before, I mean, Elon was talking about this one branch of government. If you want to like hire certain people, or if you want to retire from the federal government, there's an elevator that takes you down to a limestone quarry you have to take a piece of paper down to a limestone quarry, and that's where all the records are kept. And so the speed at which people can retire is at the speed of which this rickety elevator takes you.
Oh, it's
kind of like the wall, from Game of Thrones, where the crows go up to the top of the wall and they go down. It's like it's the same thing. They have to take this rickety elevator to go down to the limestone quarry so it's like. So the revolution is that we're digitizing everything.
Right.
We're exposing everything. We're integrating artificial intelligence to use it. So what do you think these DOGE guys are really doing? For example, when these whiz kids, these DOGE kids.
So I guess they are using artificial intelligence to figure out how much we're spending. I didn't realize that. I didn't put two and two together, honestly. But yeah, I guess you would have to use those types of systems in order to do this quickly.
Yeah. So it's so.
Yeah, I mean, in terms of the Democrats, sure, okay. Let's just use abortion as an example. Let's say that there's all these abortions and they're super expensive, right? Would a Democrat want to reduce the cost of having an abortion so that they can save money overall?
Right. I don't know.
Seems like they don't care about that. They don't care about life. They don't care about saving money.
No, I mean, well, it's the oppositional thing. So it's like, just 1 second. 1 second. It's just if the Republicans are doing it, then they have to oppose it, right? They have to be again, they're against whatever they're for, right?
I don't know. I've ever heard a Democrat say we need to save money. Have you ever heard them say they need to save money?
As a matter of fact, Stephanie, I'm really glad that you brought that up because
they're always saying more programs, more help.
Hold on 1 second. I actually have a clip for that. Hold on.
I mean, I'm sure maybe Bill Clinton did say something years ago.
Hold on. Money. Did you say
Bill Clinton?
Stephanie said. Now, see, earlier when you sounded dumb because you thought that Palantir was
well, because I know he wanted to get the people off of welfare when he was in office. He came up with a program for that.
Yeah. Hold on 1 second. Stephanie, you're really onto something here.
I do have brains.
People demand and deserve an active government on their side. But they don't want a government that wastes money, a government that costs more and does less. They voted for change. They wanted a literal revolution in the way government operates, and now you and I must deliver. Yesterday, I announced the reorganization of the White House staff that will reduce our staff by 25% and cut costs by $10 million per year. Today, I have called you, the members of the cabinet, together to take the next step.
So good on that, Stephanie. You were right.
Wow. So he did cut spending.
Yes and no. I mean, hold on. Here's the
report tells us how to cut waste, cut red tape, streamline the bureaucracy, change procurement rules, change the personnel rules, and create a government that works better and costs less.
I've read it, and where it says the president should, the president will.
Among the 800 recommendations, eliminating 12% of the federal workforce, merging some government agencies like the FBI, the DEA, and the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms, closing hundreds of government offices outside Washington.
From the day I took office, one of the commitments that I made to the American people was that we would do a better job here in Washington in rooting out wasteful spending. We thought that it was entirely appropriate for our governments and our agencies to try to root out waste, large and small, in a systematic way. It means cutting some programs that I think are worthy, but we may not be able to afford right now. A lot of the action is in Congress and legislative, but in the meantime, we don't need to wait for Congress in order to do something about wasteful spending that's out there. We haven't seen as much action out of Congress as we'd like, and that's why we launched on our own initiative the campaign to cut waste. And we're going to keep on finding every possible way that we can do that, even if Congress is not acting. There you go.
Wow.
Yeah. What do you think about that?
Okay.
Isn't
they have cut waste.
Well,
and he makes it sound like he's like, oh, don't worry, it's just legislative, mostly legislative things, like basically saying, don't worry, guys, we're not taking away your funding for schools and for all your social programs. It's just the legislative.
So here's why. Here is why AI is actually so powerful, Stephanie, because a question like that would have taken me probably an hour to research and come back with a good, useful answer. Now it took me 5 seconds because I'm able to go to AI and I can ask the question to the large language model. Obama launched the campaign to cut waste in 2011, aiming to eliminate ineffective programs and reduce government inefficiencies. Vice President Joe Biden led the effort. So he did make efforts to reduce waste and improve government efficiency, but the opinions on the effectiveness of these efforts vary depending on your perspective. So,
right.
But the criticisms of the attempt by Barack Obama and Joe Biden to have to cut waste are that despite the these efforts, the federal deficit remained a concern. Spending increased during Obama's presidency. Particularly, the national debt rose significantly.
They're claiming they're saving, but they're also adding.
Right. Inefficiencies persisted. Critics argued that while Obama's administration made some progress, the overall impact on government waste was limited compared to the size of the federal budget. There we go. That's AI helping us out.
Yeah. Well, the one thing that Bill Clinton did, I don't know the name of, it's like a back to work kind of program, was he was trying to get people off of welfare. And I remember he was trying to have a training program for people to learn how to get back into the workforce. And I thought that was a good idea. As a libertarian, I know that change is not going to happen just overnight, just snap your fingers. And so I do believe in that model where anybody who's on welfare and who's dependent on the system, we do probably need to wean them off slowly and teach them how to be independent so they can go out into the world better.
They're not retarded. They're government employees. Well,
no, not them. I'm talking about welfare recipients.
Oh, okay.
Because that's what Bill Clinton did.
What's the difference?
I remember he had a program where he was trying to get people back into the workforce and off of welfare.
Job training. I don't have any idea though about the effectiveness of those kinds of things. I mean, are they effective? Because
lazy's gonna lazy. Someone who's lazy might not ever change.
How do you teach someone to not be lazy, right? How do you teach someone to not?
But I think a lot of people who are on welfare, they might not know any better, so they do need to learn how to budget. They do need to learn job skills. and then maybe they can make a living for themselves.
Well, what do you think about somebody having to work if they want to get welfare? Because work requirements for welfare was one thing that Bill Clinton did do.
Yes, that's what I'm talking about.
Okay.
There we go. That's what I'm referring to. I do believe that should be a requirement. I think that's great. Yes. Because that's how we're going to wean people off of the teat. You can't just say, get off my teat. You have to slowly, right? Baby-led weaning. That's what it's all about.
You would know about that.
Start to give them solid foods.
Good morning.
There you go. But still give them some of the teat at some times, right? This is a great analogy here.
Kim McCurry says, hey, AP, I'm a government employee. Damn golden handcuffs, I bet. Yeah, we had a potential business idea last year, but then family issues happened and we didn't have the time or the cash. Oh, that sucks.
And that's why I'm really not hating on the government employees, because we have friends who are government employees here in Missouri.
Mm-hmm.
And so I would never be like, oh, your job, you should lose your job, because that would be affecting people we love.
I would, but that's why I lose elections.
I see the human behind all of this. I see the human behind the Democrat Party. And they have feelings too. They're not just these evil people, all of them.
The 19th Amendment and its consequences. Good morning, pineapples. I'm Austin Peterson. You're watching and listening to the Wake Up America show. It's my birthday. Get a drink card because it's your birthday.
I love that song.
Dun, dun, ch, dun, dun, ch, dun,
50
dun,
Cent.
ch, dun, dun, ch, dun, dun, ch, dun, dun, ch. Shorty's in the club, bottle full of bub. Cecilia H. says Steffi has changed the teat the man to fish to get the baby off the teat. Yes, she
That's
has.
right.
Yes.
Cecilia, happy birthday. Yesterday. Happy belated.
Southcott says, happy birthday from Alderney, the Isle of Alderney. Sunny but cold, 46 degrees Fahrenheit. Thanks for using the imperial measurements, by the way, out there. Southcott, we're grateful that, you didn't try and use some sort of sorted European metric system. No, we don't have it. We don't use any metric system here in the United States.
Right. That would be 20-something degrees Celsius?
Yes.
I have no idea.
He says that he sent a donation to the website as the rant's not working. Thanks, guys.
Southcott.
Thank you, Southcott.
Thank you. And you are already a monthly subscriber, and we truly, truly appreciate you.
Yeah, he is a big-time supporter. We appreciate that. If other people are having problems donating Rumble Rants this morning on the show, then you can do so at wakeupAmericaShow.com/support. There's a one-time donation button at the top over there to help support the show, and then underneath that is all of the monthly support levels. It'd be awesome if some of you guys became a monthly. If we could get just one new monthly supporter today, I think I'd be happy.
Absolutely.
All I want for my birthday. It's -1 degrees Fahrenheit in Kansas City, says John Rail.
Goodness.
That's about what it is out here in Jefferson City too. Thank you, Kim McCurry. Let us know when you want to get that business started. If you want any tips or anything, let us know. Solar Ray Pete joins us here for the first time. Just became a sub to the channel. We appreciate that.
Thank you.
Three Little Birds says all good products should have to have a minimal nutritional value and fit within the label of food to be bought with food stamps. No candy, no soda. That's a big conversation going on right now, Stephanie. What do you think about requirements when it comes to using your SNAP benefits? Should it be you have to buy...
Yeah, I don't
only
think
healthy
you
foods?
should be able to buy candy bars with your SNAP money.
Mm-hmm.
That's not cool. But then you say, well, who's going to be in charge of deciding what's healthy enough for the SNAP card, right? Because some people could be like, well, Frosted Flakes cereal is just fine.
It's part of a balanced breakfast.
Right. They could be like, oh, it's part of the food pyramid that the government made. So I'm not sure that I trust the person to choose, but... I don't know, fruits and vegetables, that's a must in terms of the SNAP card. Meat, that's a must because we know those are essentials for a human diet.
Eggs, bread, milk,
right.
Yeah.
But then it's you get into all of the processed crap, the Pop-Tarts,
if you really want to,
potato chips.
Yeah, but here's the thing: if you really just want to get people off of the food stamps, if the goal is to not be on it, how about just rice and beans? Right?
Yeah.
A complete food group
give
right
them,
there.
What we need to do is give them food that really could sustain life, but nothing more.
Yes.
And say, listen, we are helping you live. You are going to have a great balanced diet with just these things.
There you go.
And if you want something more, then you can spend your money on your own. I think that's a great idea.
Just rice and beans.
That's right.
That's it. Just rice and beans. Like we're here to save your life. It says, can you live on rice and beans? We went to AI. It says, yes, someone could technically survive on rice and beans alone for a while, but it wouldn't be ideal for long-term health.
That's why this is part of the program, right? Like they'll be good for a while, meaning maybe like a year.
Yes.
And then after that, then they got to go. Like we'll just take away their beans.
So
totally.
So together, rice and beans provide all 9 essential amino acids, making it a complete protein source. And it's good, if you're a vegetarian, then it fits you as well.
Absolutely.
Too, right?
We are so inclusive in our plan.
Mm-hmm.
We include vegans, everybody, kosher, halal, everyone.
Somebody says, I say bring back the black and white aisle. You should not be comfortable in poverty. What is the black and white aisle? I've never heard of that.
Is this like a race reference? I have no idea.
I have no idea. It says nutrients. Beans have iron, magnesium, potassium, and some B vitamins. They also give you energy. Their carbs and beans are filling with fiber.
You know what they should do, actually?
What?
If someone gets on food stamps, they should just get a bag of seeds, literally, and be told, hey, go grow your own. Here's a grow light. Here's some soil. Grow your own food.
Do you just give people seeds?
Yeah. Just give them a bag of seeds.
What if they live in an apartment, Stephanie? Well, they got to grow it.
Yes, the grow light. You can hydroponics. You can do anything.
You were just over here telling me how much empathy you have for people.
If they
and all
can
this
grow
stuff,
their marijuana plants with their hydroponics,
that's what they'll end up using
anything.
it for.
Exactly.
That's what they'll end up using it for.
And then they'll get off welfare because they'll make lots of money from their marijuana selling. Exactly. That is the plan. Yes.
All SNAP food should also come with contraceptives injected into them.
I mean, there's already contraceptives in the water that we drink.
There you go. So just take the water and put it in that, right?
Yes. Well, here's another question, right? Free contraceptives. Should contraceptives and, like birth control, condoms, should those be free?
Should be mandatory under a certain income level.
Yeah.
Yeah. Once you hit $35,000 a year, then you're allowed to procreate. You're allowed to have kids.
Yeah.
Right? Or you should have to get a license.
Birth control is free. The generic ones are free nowadays.
Yes.
So it's already happened.
Quill Pig Parapet, what a great name, says both my immigrant parents worked and I grew up on beans and rice and caldo. What is caldo? As an aside, being hungry is motivational. What's the freaking store about making people comfortable? Oh, yes, that quote about making people comfortable in poverty. Yeah, it was like a Benjamin Franklin. He says, we should drive them out of poverty by making them uncomfortable in it.
Yes, and I firmly believe that people usually have to hit rock bottom before they realize they have to change. And unfortunately, we have to do that to the people in poverty. We have to say, you know what? You need to find that motivation because food stamps are not going to motivate you.
Yes. Oh gosh, I got the Bill Clinton thing still pulled up here. Speaking of handouts, what about illegal immigrants? How much should we give to illegal immigrants?
Nothing.
They wanted us to try to identify them in such a way that they would qualify for long-term Social Security disability. Now,
what?
Yeah. And long-term Social Security disability is for life.
Yeah.
So if they get identified and qualify for long-term Social Security disability, they are as good as set up for life for medical treatment.
That doesn't sound like
talking
a
about the
refugee
illegals.
Just being honest,
Yeah.
that sounds like somebody who's planning on staying here.
Yeah,
A
right,
refugee
right.
stays until the problem's over and then goes home.
Well, that's right. And so they instructed us to try to identify, to try to get the client, because once they arrive here, they're now called clients.
They're called clients.
Yeah,
okay.
Because clients pay.
Sure. Sure. I'm starting to
so,
see where this is leading.
So they told us that we needed to talk to the client and ask them if they'd had any headaches, recurring headaches, or any lower back problems. Excuse me, anything that would qualify them for Social Security long-term disability.
Wait. So let
Damn,
me.
Steffi, you think I can qualify for long-term disability for my lower back issues?
Yeah, maybe.
No, they only have.
If you can prove that you can't work.
They only have that
a full-time job.
They only have that for illegal immigrants, apparently. So that's a whistleblower who was talking about illegal immigrants. They were brought to the Social Security office to help them to qualify for long-term Social Security and disability. The Democrats wanted illegal migrants on permanent Social Security so we would have to pay for them until we die. Elon said, this is a deliberate strategy by Democrats to use government handouts to attract and retain illegal immigrants, as illegals vote overwhelmingly Democrat. In New York and many other parts of the country, illegals are already allowed to vote in local elections. As they become citizens, they will vote in national elections. It's not a matter of when. It's a matter of when, not if. A diabolical but effective strategy. That was Elon Musk.
Yeah, it's like, I'm fine with illegals being here if they're not taking our money. If they're not taking governmental handouts, I'm fine with it. Go live without health insurance. Although, when they do go to the hospital, they have to be treated.
Yeah, see,
and where does that money come from?
See, and the problem there, too, with that view, Stephanie, is that what happens when they're in a car accident and they don't have insurance?
Exactly.
Then you're
they go
screwed.
to the hospital has to pay.
But then you have to pay because you just got in an accident with someone and they don't have any insurance.
Right.
So you're not covered,
Yep.
right? So that's a problem. You can't have illegals in the country, right?
Exactly.
You can't have a two-tiered system where some people can receive the benefits of citizenship without any of the accordant responsibilities of citizenship. So that's my view on it.
Oh, yeah.
What do you guys
It just
think?
gets complex with the babies. If you're a baby who's born to illegal immigrants, I mean, it's really not your fault. In my opinion, I think the baby should have rights.
I mean, everybody has rights. Even the illegal immigrant has rights.
Right.
You can't murder an illegal immigrant if you find out that if you find out that someone is an illegal immigrant here in Jefferson City today, if we're like hanging out at Home Depot, I can't just pull out my everyday carry and just blast him. You know what I mean? I would still go to jail for that, right?
Right.
It would still be considered murder, right? Because that person. And I know conservatives don't agree with this, but that person is still within the jurisdiction underneath the United States, and I'm under the jurisdiction of the United States, so I can't kill another human being. So they have basic rights. The child of an illegal immigrant has certain rights, right? They have the right to, speedy trial, a fair trial, and to be deported back to where they came from with their parents, right? But it is a tricky situation. It's a sticky situation, but I think the number one way to start solving this problem is to have security at the border. You have to have proper security at the border, and a lot of these problems will be solved. And
we shouldn't have these incentives for them to come over. We shouldn't be giving them handouts.
Yep.
We shouldn't be giving them Social Security, disability.
Yeah, well, they do that. They steal that, but here we go.
Right.
You mentioned yesterday, and you mentioned again here, illegal immigrants who are getting child tax credits. Are you looking for that information in the IRS data?
Anytime a crime is committed, of course there should be an investigation. Is it your position that if somebody who is
Stephen,
here
are you looking for that
is stealing
information in the
taxpayer
IRS
dollars,
data?
the federal government will find every illegal alien who is stealing American taxpayer dollars. And that is what Americans expect to happen. I don't even fathom the premise of your question.
It's a simple question. Will you find that information in the IRS data and share that with law enforcement?
If IRS investigators find illegal aliens stealing taxpayer money, of course they'll be referred to ICE. Of course they'll be referred to Homeland Security investigations. Of course it will be. Surely your position is not that we should let illegal aliens steal taxpayer dollars. Again, you want to talk about something to be upset about, that's it. What do you think? The millions of illegal aliens who've also stolen Social Security. Illegal aliens in mass have fake Social Security numbers. They have fake identities. Those are felonies. Why should there be an entire class in this country that is immunized from criminal prosecution and arrest for committing felonies? Felony theft of taxpayer information, felony theft of Social Security, felony theft of identity. These are all crimes. And yes, they will be investigated. Yes, they will be prosecuted. And yes, illegal aliens will be deported. And you know what happens when those deportations occur?
Just very quickly,
is that Americans will get jobs, Americans will get benefits, Americans will get houses.
Stephen, if they got a credit, a child tax credit, and they will be referred, you're saying, to ICE for that, and you would expect deported for that? Is that the position of the administration?
If it is found that a crime has been committed, they'll be referred. If it justifies a prosecution, they'll be prosecuted. If it justifies a deportation, they will be deported. This will be based on existing IRS protocols and procedures for criminal investigation and fraud.
All right,
the difference is that no one is given immunity anymore. No one is given permission to break the law anymore. because this is not a country, this is not a sovereign territory, if illegal aliens can freely steal billions, with a B, billions of taxpayer dollars. And I would have to imagine that CNN, which is endlessly talks about the importance of democracy and the rule of law, would say that no class in this country should be above the law, least of all illegal aliens who have trespassed on our territory.
No, Stephen, I'm just asking, I wanted to get your position on some things. We're not taking a position here. We wanted to get some answers to some questions. There are so many questions that need to be answered.
It doesn't sound
Stephen
to me
Miller,
like you are, in fact, indifferent or unbiased on these questions, but thank you.
Stephen Miller, thank you so much for your time. Really appreciate it.
Who is that guy?
That's Stephen Miller.
He's pretty bossly there.
Yeah. That's Stephen Miller.
Oh my goodness.
Senior advisor to the Trump administration there. He's like the immigration Uber hawk. Like, he doesn't even believe in legal immigration.
Oh my.
Like, he thinks we should deport American citizens.
Yeah, I love how he's yelling during his interview.
Bro, yeah, killed him. Absolutely killed him. It's good morning, everybody. It's a Wake Up America show. I'm Austin Peterson. Please do click the like button.
It's his birthday.
It's my birthday. Steel Bringer donated $20. Thank you, Steel Bringer. He brings the steel and the cash.
Thank you.
Those worthless Federal Reserve notes. Oh my God! Somebody's been going to the forlibertyshop.com store this
Really?
morning. Yeah.
Yeah, buy products too. If you want to get a coffee subscription. Ooh, I see what somebody bought.
Andy went and got a Gulf of America tumbler this morning. The new skull one.
And guess what? One of our DC trip goers got?
Oh, what did she get? What did she get?
A Liberty Tour merch package.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, we're going to actually we're going to design graphics for the merch package items.
Yeah,
so it's going to be brand new, completely unique, nothing anyone has ever seen before.
Yeah, and she got a Gulf of America candle, one of the nice new candles as well. So
That's
appreciate
awesome.
that. Luke says the sun just came out. Sun, 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 sun. Here we go. Yeah, it did. Let's see.
But it will not be melting the snow.
Hey, Decision Point says, happy birthday. You can finally legally rent a car. Yes.
Yes. You know, I have these 40-year-old napkins, and I use them every year for you. You're just 40 every single day.
Yes, that makes me feel better, actually. Yes. Cecilia says that her Gulf of America candle's for her mom. That's so sweet.
Aww.
And of course, she got this.
And your mom is coming on the trip with us, Cecilia. That's so cool.
I know,
gonna
that's
meet
awesome.
Her soon.
Yeah, I can't wait. So we got to get from Cecilia whether she wants coffee or tea.
Oh, I think I already asked.
Well, I think she must have gotten a second merch package then. This must be her second one. So that's for her and her mom.
Oh.
So we got to get the merch package squared away. So we got to find out if her mom likes tea or coffee. So we'll find out about that and get that going. Okay. Nelson 65. Good morning, sir.
Hello.
All of our friends. Grizz Cheese is here. Guapo Loco joining us here, as well as Whitey White 14, our resident white nationalist, which, just astounds me to no end that he watches this.
I think he likes us more than he leads on.
No, I think it's just we really are the only show in the morning that's worth a crap. That's live.
I mean, that's pretty sad when you go for the Jewish show.
The Jewish libertarian show.
Yes.
So this is the Wake Up America show, and I'm your host, Austin Peterson, and it's my Jewish redheaded libertarian wife, Stephanie, who is the puppet master behind everything.
Hi, Whitey White. Maybe I'll convince you to like my people.
Yes. See, look at all those wires. See all those wires? Those are all the wires that control me, the puppet, and Stephanie right there. She's the puppet master.
It's working.
If you had a Jew with that great of a rack and those beautiful eyes and lips, wouldn't you?
Thank you.
Those lovely, lovely Jewish girls get you every time. I saw a racist meme from the Groypers, and it was like whatever the post was. It said like it was talking about Jewish girls' chests, and it was like and it showed Apu, the frog. The little Pepe meme.
Oh yeah.
And it showed him he's like drooling, and he's like Jewish girl's chest makes me sometimes doubt my anti-Semitism.
I think a lot of Jewish girls get implants because they can afford them.
Yeah, a lot of like the New York Jews.
They get nose jobs and implants.
They do get nose jobs.
But
yes.
this girl here is all natural.
Yes, she is.
Yes.
Looking very good and very nice.
Thank you.
Hey, Latrell says, happy birthday. Good to see you, brother.
Hi, Latrell.
Yes. Looking very good and very nice. Welcome to the Wake Up America show, guys. We'll stop talking about boobies here, and we'll start talking about cutting government waste. Judge Napolitano will be joining us here live in about 12 minutes.
Yes.
Looking very good and very nice. Good morning, pineapple. Looking very good and very nice. Well, we could go ahead and start the video. This is the full Elon Musk, Donald Trump, Sean Hannity interview, and we'll just pause it and take breaks. And then, of course, the judge will come in and interrupt us, and then we'll come back to it. So it's 30 minutes, so we'll just go ahead and just start breaking it down. What do you say, Steph?
I have a question.
Yeah, go ahead.
Do you look at Elon Musk differently now, knowing that he had sexual relations with Ashley Sinclair?
Well, no, because we don't know the truth about this. He has not publicly acknowledged this.
Right.
And it could be artificial insemination. And what if he swapped it out with somebody else's seed, So because here's the thing. So she's upset. And there was another New York Post article that came out yesterday. I love this juicy gossip. There's another New York Post that came out article. She's upset. She has not spoken to Elon. He is not responding to her. She has hired a PR firm.
That doesn't sound like something he would do.
She's tweeting at him, very upset. So if it is, here's the thing. If he did do it the old fashioned way, he might be wondering, is that my baby?
I know, because I'm sure she's with multiple people.
I mean,
that's
conservative girls online, super online conservative girls do be hoeing.
You know what they should do? Go on the Maury Povich show. Is he the baby daddy?
Do the paternity test. Elon Musk, you are the father.
Right.
I don't know if you say you are not the father, then Elon does the don't roll.
Well, no, he'd do the whoosh.
Yeah.
He'd do that.
My heart goes out to you.
Yeah,
yes,
right
my heart goes out to you. Yes, exactly. Thank you, Stephanie. L-Dub78 says, happy birthday, my brother in Liberty. Donated $10. Thanks, guys.
L-Dubs, you're so sweet.
My heart goes out to you.
Yes. So I think that's how we need to solve this.
Yes. Mongoose87 knew what I was talking about. Abby Shapiro and the Khazar Milkers.
Oh, yes. But, it makes me feel less bad because if Ashley St. Clair can't even get Elon to respond to her about having a baby with him, then I don't feel so bad that he didn't respond to us at all when you were blocked from getting into your account.
The guy is exactly. The guy's revolutionizing government. The guy is revolutionizing. He's performing. This is his magnum opus. It is funny, but you're right. But it's but here's the thing. He's got these other women that are kind of more demure. They're just a little bit more ladylike. Mm-hmm. And he probably realizes that if it is true, if what she's saying is true, and she did indeed have his baby, it is kind of a tragedy because the child is the one who suffers. Let's not forget that. Yeah. But if it is his baby and she's doing, he probably realized that bitch be cray. That bitch be cray. Yeah. And that's the thing. You never stick your in cray. You just don't. If you do, you better wrap it, double wrap it. She's on birth control. Make sure she didn't pop the condom. Don't let her touch it beforehand, right? And then take the used condom with you when you leave. I know it's funny, but I mean these are things you actually have to do. I mean Drake, I think, caught a girl taking the
because she could artificially inseminate herself.
Yes, and if you think women wouldn't stoop that low, then you are absolutely wrong. So she's probably crazy.
Yeah, that is the thing that's weird to me is that Elon's all about populating the world, but yet a lot of his babies were produced from IVF.
Probably, you know what? And we don't know this. This is just my guess. I'm just guessing, speculation.
Yeah.
But I think that might be because they might be doing CRISPR.
What is that?
That's the gene altering.
Oh,
they might be doing.
I could see him wanting to do that.
Yeah, that you want it to the child to have the most superior traits.
Want the baby to look like Elon, basically.
Yeah, look like Elon, or you want the child to be to not have the possibility for autoimmune diseases.
Oh, that's so crazy.
Can you imagine being able to make those kinds of decisions? That's totally possible.
Eugenics. Yeah.
Yeah, it is eugenics. Yeah, it's
that's a good point. I bet that's probably what he is doing. You're right, because I was like, what is he doing? He just doesn't even have time to have sexual contact. He's just like, I'm too busy. Just take my sperm and go.
Well, get this. So what's funny too is that you got Elon Musk, and when he is not working, He likes to play video games.
Yeah, he's like a top gamer.
Yeah. So apparently that was exaggerated. Him being a top gamer. Somebody came along
like
later
top
and said
5
that.
in Diablo.
That's what they said. They said yes, in theory, but the Diablo bros in the chat are going to be like, actually. But so let's not get on that off that on the tangent. But here's the thing. Imagine like you're trying to reach Elon. You're Ashley. You're trying to reach Elon. And like you watch him, he's literally streaming video games on X, and you're like, he won't respond to you.
That's why it's so frustrating, because when I was trying to get his attention, he's like tweeting out memes, doing all this silly stuff. And it's just like, his priorities are a little odd. But I can't judge him because he's being productive in this world.
Yeah, listen, I can't question him in some ways. And in some ways you can say, hey, listen, you really should be finding a way to be a father, right? Because it's I don't know that money really is a replacement for being there, for being present.
Not.
Yeah. I mean, we are so fortunate because of the lifestyle that we lead, that both of us are in Hazel's life every day. It's not like, dad has to come home 8 hours and then, the child's first time he gets to see him all day, right? I get to like be a co-parent, which is nice. But
there's that one kid that always comes with Elon wherever he goes. But then the other children, I never see them. I just see the little boy.
Which X?
Yeah, XGA.
Lil X. Yeah. Apparently his mom was not happy about that appearance that he made in the White House too. So people just, you can't please anybody. It doesn't matter what it is. No matter what you do, you're wrong. So there's always, especially when you're a great man and you're in the arena, you've always got a weak spot that other people can spot. And there's always a chink in your armor somewhere. And there's always going to be somebody from the peanut gallery throwing peanut shells at you, throwing tomatoes, throwing cabbage, throwing shit at you, just because, again, it's entertainment, right? We all were watching these great men doing these great things, and when we sit on the sidelines, it's easy for us to throw stones. It is. Yeah. All right. JD Vance sees the Waco plan for peace. Fiery Waco. What is with the Waco plan? What is this? David Koresh in the chat. My phone's blowing up because it's my birthday here, and I love to see it. Thanks to everybody for all your generous donations. We've got Judge Andrew Napolitano coming up in here in just a few minutes. He's going to give us a breakdown of the question of whether or not Donald Trump is allowed to fire certain federal employees for certain reasons. Yesterday, the Wall Street Journal opinion, you're fired, not so fast. Court precedent may yet protect officials at independent agencies from at-will removals. So it's an interesting question. We're going to speak to Judge Napolitano about that. He also wrote a great piece about Eric Adams in New York. And I want to talk to the judge a little bit about lawfare. So we're going to talk about all of that when we get back. Don't go away. It's me, Steffi, on my birthday. Drink Bacardi because it's your birthday. We'll be right back on the Wake Up America show on the 4 Liberty Network.
Are you tired of the strange radioactive effects of leftist culture? Do you ever wonder what happened to good old-fashioned American values? Well, fear no more, because there's a new force fighting back against the cultural rot of today. Introducing Culturama, a right-of-center talk show that's taking back the future today. Hosted by none other than blonde bombshell herself, Daniela Pensack. She's not just talking, she's taking culture back. With sharp takes, brilliant guests, and a few surprises along the way. Tune in to the live video podcast twice a week, because the future doesn't have to be weird. It can be Culturama.
If there wasn't going to be somebody who was a fiery champion of liberty, somebody who would get out there and who would be aggressive, and if they wouldn't do it with more fire or passion than I had, then I would go and I would fight this battle for us. I've fought for the principles that we all share. Parties tend to be secondary to me. We're here because we believe in the principles of liberty. I am not a perfect messenger, but I think I'm a damn good one. This is a replica of our first president's flintlock pistol. You have my full support, my respect, and my gun.
I think that at the heart of my philosophy is much more libertarianism than well, that's the fashionable word these days, I guess. A conservative is no longer just that. He's a libertarian and always has been.
Yet any time you and I question the schemes of the do-gooders, we're denounced as being against their humanitarian goals. They say we're always against things, we're never for anything.
What is fascism? Fascism is private ownership, private enterprise, but total government control and regulation.
Well, the trouble with our liberal friends is not that they're ignorant. It's just that they know so much that isn't so. If we lose freedom here, there's no place to escape to. This is the last stand on earth. This is the issue of this election. Whether we believe in our capacity for self-government or whether we abandon the American Revolution and confess that a little intellectual elite in a far distant capital can plan our lives for us better than we can plan them ourselves.
The conservative, so-called, is the one that says less government, get off my back, get out of my pocket, and let me have more control of my own destiny.
Do you hate the deep state? Do you reject the Antichrist in all his ways? Do you believe that aliens controlled LBJ to assassinate John F. Kennedy? Did you know that the shot can put chemicals in you that will make you more sensitive to 5G? Do you love America? Do you want more freedom? Do you like smoking hot red-headed libertarians? Then the AP for Liberty shop is for you! Check out all the awesome new merch and have a happy new year! Fight the deep state, reject the Antichrist. Visit AP for Liberty shop and get your patriotic merchandise now, or the deep state wins.
Tired of spending your hard-earned money on woke corporations that don't share your pro-freedom values? Fed up with sipping liberal lattes and progressive cappuccinos? Introducing Founding Flavors from AP for Liberty Shop. Get your day started with Washington's Revolutionary Roast. As robust and principled as the man himself, this blend is the shot of energy heard round the world. Or maybe you want to taste the fervor of freedom with Adams's Patriotic Perk. It's as dynamic and balanced as the U.S. Constitution, sure to awaken your spirit of liberty. For the aficionados, we've got the Jeffersonian Java, a complex mix of flavors that speaks volumes about your refined tastes. And don't forget Betsy's Liberty Lullaby, our decaf option, crafted with the same care and dedication Betsy Ross put into our Star-Spangled Banner. This blend lets you enjoy the taste of freedom anytime without losing sleep. No woke beans here, folks. Just pure, patriotic, pro-freedom flavors brewed with love for liberty. So why compromise your principles for a cup of coffee? Stand up for your values, perk up your patriotism, and start your day the American way. Get your founding flavors at apforlibertyshop.com. Good morning. Rise in freedom. I'm Austin Peterson. You're watching and listening to the Wake Up America show on the For Liberty Network. Thank you, everyone, for all of your kind felicitations. This morning, you guys have been so generous, and I'm so grateful for all of the major donations and purchases you've made at forlibertyshop.com in honor of my birthday. I'm truly humbled and grateful. Thank you, everyone, for being here. We're glad to have so many live viewers. It's amazing to be able to get up so early and to see so many people who are dedicated to the mission of individual liberty. We always had this little saying behind the scenes, libertarians, when we gather at our conferences or our meetings or in our studios, when we conspire to take over government and leave everyone alone, we have this little phrase. We call it True North Libertarianism. And when I worked at the Fox Business Network with Judge Andrew Napolitano, who joins us live right now. Be careful, Judge. Some people think that's the sign of the Illuminati. Judge Andrew Napolitano.
It's what you and I used to use when I was on air and couldn't say the words.
Yes, that's right. True North, Judge. We're glad to have you here today, Judge, and thank you very much for carving time out of your busy schedule. Is it unconstitutional for Congress to make government agencies like the Federal Reserve independent by restricting the president's authority to fire their heads?
Well, it's unconstitutional for Congress to establish something that's not recognized by the Constitution. This is intentionally the brainchild of the constitutional law professor who became president, Woodrow Wilson, who desired a government by experts. I'm quoting him now. And he believed that experts who would man the Federal Trade Commission, the Federal Reserve, for example, would govern us far better than the politicians in the Congress. And he believed that they should be immune from influence by the executive or the legislative branch. Well, this is a fourth branch of government, totally unrecognized by the Constitution, absolutely unconstitutional. I have argued, you may have heard me say this, that Donald Trump should propose legislation to abolish all these things. He'll get that legislation through now. He's still on his honeymoon. But doing so on his own, even though these things are unconstitutional, the courts have upheld them wrongly, I believe. Although the court has never ruled on the constitutionality of the Federal Reserve, it has ruled on constitutionality of the other agencies, would be if Congress were to abolish them, then all the litigation goes away. But when the president attempts to weaken them or water them down or even put them out of business on his own, he gives the big government people a leg on which to stand in their litigation. Most people do not agree with you and me in the summary that I just gave, that this fourth branch of the government is unrecognized by the Constitution, it's alien, and it's unconstitutional. Most people, because these things have been around for more than 100 years, accept them as a legitimate function of Woodrow Wilson's government by experts.
Right. So under current U.S. law, the U.S. president can remove commissioners of many independent agencies, but he's only been able to do so for inefficiency, neglect of duty, or malfeasance in office. Other reasons like policy agreements, those don't justify removal before a commissioner's term ends. So last week, Sarah Harris, she's the administration's acting Solicitor General, she sent a letter to Dick Durbin, and she wrote, the Justice Department has determined that certain for-cause removal provisions for members of multi-member regulatory commissions are unconstitutional. The DOJ will no longer defend their constitutionality. So essentially, the Trump administration is saying that they can fire employees at will, correct? And should that be the way it should be?
Well, the entity shouldn't exist, but because it does exist, if you believe in the unitary executive, that is, that all executive functions are subject to the president because he's transparent and he's answerable to the people, then the short answer to your question is yes. But that is not what the statute says. Now, the acting AG did what another statute requires her to do, which is when the Justice Department will not defend legislation that Congress has enacted, the DOJ must inform Congress. Congress can then hire lawyers. They do this. It happens more frequently than we realize. Congress can then hire lawyers, usually ex-DOJ, ex-solicitor general, ex-prosecutors, ex-judges, that category of people, to come in and defend the statute, because the courts do not want just one side appearing before them.
So Madison wrote in Federalist number 48 that the separation of powers didn't require that the three branches of government be wholly unconnected with one another. He said that they need to be blended so as to give each constitutional control over the others. Separation of powers, Madison wrote in Federalist number 47, didn't preclude Congress from limiting executive authority, but meant that neither the legislative nor the executive could wholly usurp the other's power. This explains why he offered no objection to the first independent agency and why the Supreme Court should follow his example, at least writes this article in the Wall Street Journal. So in other words, Madison seemed to think that, the author of the Constitution, seemed to think that it was possible for there to be an independent agency, but I guess, do you agree with Madison? Should there be allowed?
I don't believe that that's what Madison was driving at. The Madison that I have studied would have recoiled at the thought of a fourth branch of government. I think what Madison was driving at is that Congress can limit the president's authority to interfere with his own executive branch. An odd position for the creator of the separation of powers to take, but that's what he said.
Is it legal in your mind for the president to hire Elon Musk to gain access to sensitive information at the IRS and at the Department of the Treasury?
Absolutely not. DOGE is profoundly unconstitutional because it wasn't created by Congress and because Musk was not confirmed by the Senate. The Constitution says officers of the United States must be authorized by Congress, paid by Congress, and confirmed by the Senate. The statute defines officers of the United States as people who set policy, affect budgets, or hire and fire. Musk is doing all three. Now, if you ask Musk or Trump, if you can get a lucid answer out of Trump, they will claim that Musk is only recommending and that Trump is actually pulling the levers of power. That's a factual question that Judge Chutkan in D.C. is going to have to resolve after she takes testimony on this. Who is actually doing the firing? Who is actually looking at the confidential material? Who is actually trimming the budgets? Is it Musk and his team, or are they just recommending, and is it Trump and his team? If it's Trump and his team, then Musk can do all the recommending he wants, and Trump can hire anybody he wants to recommend to him. But if Musk is actually pulling levers of governmental power, then in my view, it's profoundly unconstitutional because it hasn't been authorized by Congress and he hasn't been confirmed by the Senate.
So it's unconstitutional, it's illegal, but is it immoral?
Is it immoral? Well, I can't really answer that question. I don't know if it's immoral. It's probably immoral to fire somebody without cause. But I have not examined that question. That's a question I can't answer. I haven't examined it. I don't know what the natural law would say about somebody like Musk at the president's authorization jumping into government.
Oh, I really, it really warms my heart to hear you say it that way, Judge, because, you know, sometimes you always seem like the type of person who just knows everything. So when you say you can't answer a question like that, it makes me feel better because I always feel so dwarfed by your intellect. And when I struggle with these things, whenever I struggle with these issues or these concepts, I always wonder what it is you would think about things. And that's why I'm so grateful that I have you on Wednesday mornings to talk about these big brain issues, because it strikes me as, while you may be correct, and I'm not sure about the constitutionality, it may be illegal, you may be correct about that as well, it doesn't strike me as immoral what Elon Musk is doing. It strikes me as profoundly moral. It strikes me as something akin to treating a cancer patient and administering chemotherapy. The chemotherapy itself is poisonous, right? The unconstitutionality or the illegality of their actions may be the poison itself, but it's necessary to cure the patient, to get us into a situation where where a line item can't take $4.6 trillion and an untraceable $4.6 trillion going through the Treasury, Judge, that of our taxpayer dollars that can just disappear without any oversight at all. I mean, our money can just shoveling out the door. If Elon Musk's behaviors are unconstitutional or illegal, then they certainly are moral if he manages to accomplish stopping the graft and the grift and the theft of taxpayer dollars. So I guess that's sort of what I'm working on.
Musk has already revealed the gross incompetence of previous presidencies, not just Biden, but Trump's presidency. Much of this stuff went on right under his nose, and he didn't know about it. Musk will run into a buzzsaw, of course, when he tries to do this to the Defense Department because of the military-industrial congressional complex. But I, of course, welcome his doing so, exposing all the waste and mismanagement there. That's probably the greatest example of it. I mean, the Defense Department budget, which is now just shy of $900 billion a year, is more than the next 10 countries combined, which includes Russia, that has a bigger, and China. And China has a bigger army and a bigger navy. So the next 10 countries combined spend less than we do. Trump has talked about cutting the military budget in half. I mean, that is such music to our ears. What would your buddy Josh Hawley do when Trump says you're going to vote to cut this in half? Hawley's going to say, wait a minute, I beat Austin Peterson. Now you're making me vote as if I were Austin Peterson?
Very funny, Judge.
I couldn't resist, especially with Mrs. Peterson sitting there with you.
Yes, the lovely Stephanie is hanging out with us, and she'll be joining us again here in just a few minutes. The judge only has a few more minutes of his time. Judge, speaking of chomping the bit, I was so excited to see this. Rand Paul suggests DOGE help audit Fort Knox gold reserves. Are you in favor of that? And
absolutely.
And what do you think?
I'm in favor of that. I would want his father to be in charge of that audit after the father is in charge of the audit of the Federal Reserve.
What do you think they'll find, Judge? Do you think that do you think the gold is all there? Do you think that they've been stealing it, as so many of our friends seem to think?
I don't know. It would be catastrophic if what is supposed to be there is not there. It would be quite eye-opening to find out what and whose debt the Federal Reserve owns. I mean, the whole concept of the Federal Reserve is profoundly unconstitutional. Another Woodrow Wilson brainchild that we are stuck with. And as I mentioned earlier, the court has never ruled on the constitutionality of the Federal Reserve. Justice Scalia told me that's because it's probably unconstitutional. Justice Scalia also believed that paper money was probably unconstitutional, and the court would never rule on it because it would force the court to be intellectually dishonest or to cause a revolution if it does the right thing.
Fantastic, Judge.
Our friend Jake Hornberger has an interesting piece out this morning about paper money is bringing about ruination. he's attacking Trump for wanting to stop the coining of pennies.
It's just so funny, Judge. The things that our friends in the liberty movement are obsessed with, the gold in Fort Knox,
Right.
the minting of the pennies. Other people are concerned about, all these other issues, and then here we are. We're fascinated with the gold in Fort Knox. Judge Andrew Napolitano, since we've only got a couple more minutes, I want to give you a chance to give us a sneak preview of your exciting Judging Freedom show and who you have coming up on your Judging Freedom podcast, which people should download on all of their mobile devices.
Oh, I have two of my biggest heavy hitters today. I have Colonel Douglas McGregor on, who's warning about a war between Egypt and Israel. And I have Professor Jeffrey Sachs, who's quite pleasantly surprised at the goings-on in Riyadh. I also have Aaron Mate and Phil Giraldi. I love Phil Giraldi. He's the one that George Bush threw out of the Oval Office when he was one of Bush's CIA briefers, and he said, Saddam Hussein does not have weapons of mass destruction.
Judge Andrew Napolitano, he's the host of Judging Freedom. Download it here on any of your mobile devices. See it here on Rumble where you're watching this show. Make sure you follow his channel and read his weekly columns, which come out every Thursday at judgenap.com. Judge, thank you for your time today. We're very grateful.
Thank you.
Thank you, Stephanie. Thank you, Austin. And I guess I can say this on air. Happy birthday, Austin.
Thank you, Judge. Very grateful. We'll see you again next week.
You got it.
That's Judge Andrew Napolitano. All right. So Stephanie is still here, of course.
I am. It was cool to meet him for the very first time.
Oh, is that the first time you guys
I've
ever?
never actually talked to him
That's
before.
right. Yeah. One thing that we kind of haven't done, I've taken you to Washington, D.C. I guess we've gone twice now. Have we gone twice now?
Yes.
Just one? Yeah, twice.
Yeah, the first time was for Timcast.
Yes.
And so we got to see, that's when I got to see the White House, and we went on the DC tour. And then the second time was for Cherry Blossom Festival, and we got to go to Monticello.
One of the things we talk about, though, is that there's this whole era of my life at which you kind of detailed all of these different things in my life in the card that you got for me this morning. It was so sweet. But the one era of my life which you have not been able to kind of get an inside tour on has been my life that I spent in New York City. Mm-hmm. When I lived in New York, when I worked at Fox, because I lived in New York twice. The first time I was in New York was after college, and that was when I was doing my poor broke actor thing, writing plays and trying to make it in the entertainment business. And I was doing, modeling, and you mentioned that in the card.
You were an underwear model.
I did I did like one underwear photo shoot, I think, but it was, and then I did like some other modeling as well. But there was this whole period of life in New York, the first time that I lived there, where I was, poor, broke, trying to make it. And then I got a job in D.C. working in politics after my Ron Paul obsession got kicked off. Then I went back to New York as a television producer and worked and lived in New York City again, this time kind of at the top of the food chain, which was really fun and interesting. But you've never been with me to New York City to see where I lived, where I worked, what my life was like there.
No.
And so at one point, I'm going to take you to New York, you and Hazel, and we'll all go to New York City together. And I'll give you a behind-the-scenes tour. You'll see my original dojo where I first started to learn karate. I'll take you to some of my favorite restaurants in the Greek area. AP was doing undie shoots with Marky Mark, says Mighty Megatron. Yes. People are kind of surprised about the underwear model stuff. Whitey White says, gay. John Rail says, got to pay the bills, AP, no shame. Yeah.
Absolutely.
I mean, listen, somebody's going to pay. When you're broke and somebody says, I'll give you $150 to model our it wasn't like Calvin Klein or anything. It was, and it was just like some kind of it was like boxer briefs. It wasn't like, whitey tighties or something like that. It was for, I don't know, it was like a Target or something like that. I don't know what it was. It was like Hanes or Fruit of the Loom or whatever it was or something like that. But it wasn't even like a national campaign. It was like regional or something. And, I got paid pretty well. I also did like modeling in clothes, like with like, I used to be in really great shape, but I was a Microsoft model.
Oh, yes.
For Microsoft, yes.
You were with a whole group of people, and you were acting as the manager?
The salesperson.
Oh, the salesperson. Okay.
Yes. So he was young. He needed the money, says Andy Hoffman. Yes. AP After Dark. OnlyFans, yes.
Oh, I'm so excited to go to New York with you.
I can't wait. You know what I really, really just can't wait for is that's just a good old-fashioned slice of classic New York cheese pizza. It's delicious.
Oh, I thought you were going to say Katz's Deli.
Well, that too. We're definitely going to do that. We'll do a New York food tour. Right, I'll take you to a show. We'll see what Hazel's doing at that point. Right, we'll have to try and figure out the childcare situation.
Mm-hmm.
We'll try and go to see a Broadway show if we can. If there's anything that's actually good that's playing these days. And then we'll go to Katz's Deli. We'll get the New York slice. I'll show you my old house. We'll go see my sensei at my old dojo. Go to Astoria. Go to some of my favorite Greek restaurants in town. I'll give you the classic New York tour, and it'll be fun. Thanks for everybody who's joining us live this morning on the Wake Up America show.
Yeah, we'll be a New Yorker family for one weekend.
Yes. Hashtag #MeTooAP casting couch. I did have people who tried to have sex with me in the butt.
Oh my goodness.
Never did it.
See, thinking of a man modeling in underwear, I think of that very differently than an OnlyFans model.
Mm-hmm.
Like if a woman is modeling in underwear, I think of that as way more scandalous than a man in underwear. Because
Really?
men, yeah, because in society we see men in boxers a lot more.
Yes.
And that's totally okay.
Yes.
Whereas women, when they're wearing their full-on, bra and undies, like that's way more provocative.
What's funny to me is how underwear fashion moves, especially for guys. Luke Mills reminds us, didn't you work for FAO Schwartz as a toy soldier?
Oh yeah,
I
that
did.
too.
Yes,
We got to go to FAO Schwartz and get Hazel a gigantic stuffed animal.
We'll buy her the toy piano like they have in the movie Big. It's like $200,000. Heart and soul. Yeah, that's it's like $200,000 for the piano.
Yes, we can afford it with all of your donations. Thank you.
Yes, we can. Thanks, guys. We appreciate all the generous donations, guys, from our birthday. Heart and soul. Yeah, I did a little bit of everything when I was in New York. Your card, go grab your card real quick for me, because there's a whole bunch of things in there. I mean, since it's a birthday show, guys, we're not as political. The Judge was kind of like the big political news segment. Now we're just kind of hanging out. It's almost like a mini Freedom Family Friday. So I hope you guys don't mind if we just kind of reminisce and talk a little bit about, I don't know, my life. I guess it is my show. So I imagine you guys might be a little bit interested in some of the details. If you're not, I know we got 203 people here. Some people might be impatient. They'll be like, I want to hear the news. I understand. If that's the case, definitely come back tomorrow and we'll be back on our normal track. Stephanie got me this beautiful card. You can see right there. Where did you get this card now? Tell the story here.
So my grandmother died a few years ago, and I was able to go through some of her belongings and take the things that meant something to me. And so she really liked to collect a lot of greeting cards. And I took one of those, and she and my grandfather traveled the world. And I want to say they probably got that on one of their travels. It says it's from Hong Kong.
Are you okay if I read this?
Oh, absolutely.
To the audience? Okay, because when you listed all these things, I was like, holy God, you're right. That is a lot. She says, Austin, you have accomplished more in your life than anyone else I know. You've lived in D.C. and New York, modeled, been in musicals, and a band, ran for president and U.S. Senate, got certified to scuba dive, and you are a sensei, business owner, radio host, and producer. You've helped me accomplish so much too. I married you, went to Japan, had a baby with you, and became a homeowner. You are a true success. You boost others around you too. I know you will accomplish so much more. I can't wait. Happy birthday. Aw.
Yeah. Because we were talking the other day about what birthdays mean as we get older. And I think it does get more depressing as we get past 21 years old.
Right. 35 is the last time that you hit an age where there's something you couldn't do.
Right.
And I did that.
Yeah. And so we have to look at our birthdays in a different way as we age past 35. And we have to say, okay, what's the point of this now? Mm-hmm. And so the point of this is
to make
you're not
point.
done
Yeah.
yet.
Yes. But the point is that you have to make your own point, right? You have to make your own life. But it's kind of always like that, right? You always, I mean, you're right in that you do have the milestones that you look forward to, but you also always have to make your life what you want it to be. It really is, what is the meaning of life? And it's what you make it. It is always what you make it. I don't know. I guess I always had like a thirst for adventure, right? Some excitement, adrenaline, right? A little bit. But it's funny because I always compare myself to people who are better than me or who are richer than me or who have done more than me.
You like to surround yourself with those people.
I do.
Like
people,
Judge Knapp.
People who are smarter than me, sure. But I compare myself to those people, and that's why I'm miserable. Because I'm like, I wish I had as many viewers as Judge Knapp. I wish I had as big an audience as Judge Knapp. I wish I was as in shape at 44 as some guy that you see who's like, all ripped and all that stuff. But it's like, when I look at the things that I've done, it is kind of amazing, right? Because
compared to most people, yes,
not much is expected of you other than the people who are already in your life and part of your community when you're growing up. Like they who see what you're capable of, they can kind of say, well, I really expected. I always knew that this guy was going to go off and do something wonderful or amazing or be exceptional in some way. But if you really want to live like big, if you want to live large, then you have to build an even bigger community, much wider circles, and try and cast it out. And the downside to that is that when you fall on your face, it's a bigger crowd of people to see it, right? There's a bigger crowd of people. Yeah, there's a bigger crowd of people who are there to watch you when you fall, but also you have more people to lift you up and you know what you learn too? Like, for example, when I was hacked on X, you learn who your real friends are, don't you?
Oh, yes.
Yeah, you learn. A
lot of them, like Agatha Topian, that name really stands out to me because I saw him reposting, messaging out to Elon.
Reveal of Liberty.
Reveal of Liberty. Yes. I mean, they were stars.
They were genuinely concerned for us.
Absolutely. We got prayers, like special unique prayers that people made for us, and also Carmelina, is that her name?
Martinez, yeah, it's Carmelina. Carmelina, she went out of her way for us. A lot of people did. Scott Adams, so Dilbert creator, he hooked us up with a big repost.
Justin
Amash stepped up for us, and it's funny because it does remind you too. It reminds you that some people also have it out for you.
Oh yeah,
right. You saw that some of the people were like, he won't be missed, as if I was going anywhere, as if I was just going to shut up.
They assume once you're off of Twitter, you're basically dead.
Right.
But it's like, no, the world exists outside of social media.
Yeah, but I had my backup account, thankfully.
Right.
And it's people wanted me to keep it, so I just went ahead and kept it. And so I've just I've renamed it to Libertarian Warlord.
Maybe that's where you can really make it big and you can just share memes.
There you go.
See, it seems like the anonymous accounts are the ones that really make it huge.
Yes. So Libertarian Warlord. I mean, it's not quite anonymous now, but I mean, I'll just go ahead and remove any like AP symbols for it, other than like, I'll make like an AI avatar of me looking kind of scary,
right?
Like a warlord.
Yes.
Yeah, Latrell says, haha, Austin is gone forever. Idiots on Twitter. Yeah, exactly. Right.
Because for those people, that's their only accomplishment is that they typed some letters on a keyboard.
Yes, that's right. Some people talk shit. Other people go to their state capitals and they argue to abolish the income tax.
Oh, that took major cojones. I don't know if I ever reacted to that after you did that. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, were you on?
I don't think I did.
Last Friday? We did Freedom Family Friday? Oh,
well, I think the video finally came out after the fact.
Right. Oh, that's right. So you haven't been you haven't been on the show since the video came out of me.
Well, as you know, I don't have the courage to do things like that. I'm paranoid that Democrat lady's going to come after you.
Yeah, she might.
But as of now, we are safe. But I mean, you would do an amazing job as a congressman, I really think. Like, imagine getting these speeches from Austin on the reg.
Yeah, well,
that would be epic.
You know what's funny is that you might be right, maybe not, but even the Republicans were uncomfortable with my presence and my testimony. It's strange. Like, I felt an almost antibiotic response to my presence there in the hearing. You know why? Because they're so used to people coming in who aren't like regular people.
Right.
Or if they do have regular people come in, then they're usually just like screaming, angry, ranting, right? They're not like deconstructing taxes, like from moral and
Right.
legal viewpoints and stuff. But I got up there and reminded them that they were public servants after I had just been chastised by one of them for recording them in public. Right, reminded them that they were public servants, and apparently even the Republicans didn't take too kindly about that. Right, later I was hearing that the Republicans were also put off by my testimony. And you could see people sniggering in the back behind me, and it's because they're so used to these flacks, hacks, lawyers, right, coming in and like opening up their prepared remarks and just reading the prepared remarks that someone else wrote for them to read because they're there to lobby for or against legislation.
Right.
They're not used to real people coming in and deconstructing the arguments for big government. And so it was interesting later that Senator Barbara Washington lady was so offended by my presence. I mean, did you hear the part where I was talking about Martin Luther King Jr. and she was like, oh, don't you quote Dr. King to me.
And to say Hitler.
Oh yeah,
that really took major confidence. That
was the quote. That was his quote. He said, Martin Luther King Jr. said, everything that Hitler did in Germany was legal, and she was offended by that, man.
Oh, yes.
She was offended.
Well, we learned it. We were talking to a state representative or an old state representative friend that we have about the whole hearing process and why it matters. And really, they want people to testify that are going to make the bill look good. So if you show the bill in another kind of light that they don't want, then even the people who are on your side are not going to like it. So, for example, there was a bill about psilocybin being used for medical purposes.
That's right.
And apparently there was this man who came to a hearing and he uses psilocybin recreationally. And so he was coming there. This is apparently how he presented himself. He was like, yeah, man, I use psilocybin and I had such a great experience. It was so cool, man. But even though he was for the bill, it made the bill look bad.
Right.
Because you don't want people who use psilocybin recreationally to be coming out for a bill that's about medical uses.
Right.
That kind of taints the bill.
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so I think that's why some of the even Republicans were scandalized by your testimony, because they're like, wait, we want to keep it very conservative. We don't want to have libertarians putting their hands into this bill here.
Right. We don't want these citizens coming in and mucking up our bill and and sounding a little bit to, making morally outrageous
taxation
arguments.
is theft is not words that Republicans usually like to say.
That's true. Yes, they don't.
Because they still do like some taxation.
Yes, but I am a Republican who is a libertarian.
Exactly. So seriously, you do the things that people wish they could do.
Well, I do it because it's fun and because it's the right thing to do. It is the morally correct position to take. If you're just tuning into the Wake Up America show, good morning, my little pineapples.
Hello. We've been meaning to make a t-shirt about that. Good morning, pineapple. A little pineapple with the booty.
Drew Van Runkle says his wife went to a committee hearing yesterday on marijuana.
Oh.
Yes.
That's cool. Wow. I wonder what kind of response she got.
Yeah, I'd be curious to hear that story.
Honestly, I don't think I will ever do a testimony. That is so intimidating to me, and I feel like I'd be shaking and sweating profusely.
Barney Style says, ever go to one of the 9/12 Project meetings? Bunch of weirdos like me there never went back.
What's a 9/12 meeting? Is that about 9/11? Only the day after 9/11?
Let's see what it was. Oh, that was a Glenn Beck thing.
Okay.
Yes, how it began, 9/12 Project. It was the 9/12 Project and We Surround Them, conservative activist group. Protect the values and principles the greatest nation ever collected, blah, blah, blah. It happened in, okay, so yeah, it was a Glenn Beck thing. So
yes.
Yeah, so if you're just tuning in to the Wake Up America show, good morning. I'm Austin Peterson, and we're glad to have you here. We are hanging out and talking whatever it is about on my birthday, since today's my 44th birthday. We're very happy about that.
That's right. You can do whatever you want today.
Well, Brad he's doing a half day. He's doing some other stuff today, and then no karate tonight because Jefferson City Public Schools are closed. So we can just kind of goof around, baby.
We can party.
So if you guys want to support the show, I know some people have said that the rants were not going through. And so if you are having a problem making donations and you'd like to do a donation to help support the For Liberty Network, you can do so at wakeupAmericaShow.com/support. That's wakeupAmericaShow.com/support. If you do so, all the money there goes to the show to help support the network and to grow the ideas of liberty.
It's a birthday money bomb.
Yeah. And we're just going to use it to go buy some formula for diapers
I know,
for
she's
Hazel
actually
later,
running
right?
low. We are down to the last canister of formula. I was trying to get some from Sam's Club, but the snow was so bad that I couldn't do my curbside order, so they just canceled it this morning. So now we don't even have an order of formula. So we're going to have to pick up formula at some point. Go through the ice and snow.
Yeah. Kim McCurry says the difference between the 9/12 and the Tea Party movement was that 9/12 focused on education and participated in activism. Tea Party focused on activism with education on the side. Yeah. Thank you, Kim.
I went to
We
a Tea
appreciate
Party
that.
rally
Yeah.
once.
Oh,
I just
you
sat in
did?
the grass, though. Yeah, in Michigan.
Oh, okay.
I didn't actually do anything. I just sat in the grass and had a "Don't Tread on Me" flag. I thought I was doing my part.
Yeah, we I loved the Tea Party, so I went to dozens of them all over the country. Mostly it was like Ron Paul rallies
Right.
that ended up turning into Tea Party rallies and stuff.
Yes.
So Entropy Nomad just gifted 10 subs. Wow.
Entropy.
Entropy Nomad.
Messaged out to you yesterday. I want you to message us.
Yes.
You can text the show line 573-319-1586.
Yeah, we like to treat our VIPs like VIPs,
Mhm.
Entropy, and you've been certainly stepped up for the For Liberty
You are a
Network in a big way
star.
lately. Yeah, you're kind of a star, becoming a star here, Entropy, to us. So we like to know who those people are and stuff like that because you get star treatment when you are so
That's
generous
right.
with us. So please send us a text message, and anybody can text message us, of course, at 573-319-1586. Text lines are open at 573-319-1586. I've never seen M. Osber23 here before, and yet they know that we are Good Morning Pineapples.
Wow. You know, Good Morning Pineapple is really catching on with everybody.
It kind of is. Isn't it funny? Because I remember the first day that I did it, and I still, every once in a while, people will be like, I can't share this show with other people because of that pineapple stuff. They're like, no, pineapple.
Maybe we should change the show logo to an upside-down pineapple. I think that would be very fitting.
I can make a really cool, synthwave Wake Up America Show pineapple logo. We should probably do that. I'll throw that in. How does that sound? Okay, you guys want to do it? All right, we'll make it a part of the iconography.
Because there's always inside jokes for every show. Like your radio show used to be a squirrel.
That's
and
true. Clementines.
And so we need to have some new inside jokes, right?
Yeah. Good morning, pineapple. Looking very good and very nice. We're glad to have you here. I said that we were going to react to the Donald Trump Elon Musk interview from Sean Hannity. You ready to do that now?
Yeah, that looks fun.
Okay, let's do it.
With this. So he's working for free with DOGE. He's kind of put a lot of his life on hold. And you sued Twitter a number of years ago. You just made him pay you $10 million?
That's right. Well, I sued from long before he had it.
Yeah.
And I mean, they really did a number on me, and I sued, and they had to pay. They paid $10 million settlement.
You're okay with that?
I mean, I left it up to the lawyers and the team running Twitter. So I said, you guys do what you think is the right. It makes sense.
I think it's fine.
I think very low. I was looking to get much more money than that.
So you gave him a discount when the lawsuit.
He got he got a big discount. I don't think he even knows about it.
He's become one of your, if you read and believe the media, he's become one of your best friends. He's working for free for you.
Well, I love the president. I just want to be clear about that.
You don't care about that.
I know. I love the president.
You love the president.
I think President Trump is a good man, and he's,
You got to know the Democrats really hate to hear that.
Oh my goodness. And that shows you right there that Elon really does not know the comings and goings of his own company. Well, I guess he's not even the CEO anymore technically, so he really wouldn't know. But I mean, things just happen. He can't control everything that's going on.
So it was a lawsuit that happened over Trump being suspended from his account back when it was Twitter.
Right.
Right.
And he had every right to sue.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we would have probably taken legal action if your account was still being hacked and locked.
Yeah. Yeah.
So sometimes
sure.
you gotta take those measures in order to make a statement.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. So Musk was and Trump, like, they basically just let the lawyers figure it out. But if it had been the case that Musk was not the head of Twitter, Trump probably would have asked for a lot more. So
absolutely.
10 million was kind of like the basis, like the baseline.
That's why it's important to network and make connections with people, because
Make
you
friends.
never know when things might help you.
That's true. You never know. So thank you to everybody who's been so generous. I see that some of the donations have been coming through over on wakeupAmericaShow.com/support as well.
Thank you all. Oh, Hazel's awake. She's moving around in her crib there. She's like, it's Dad's birthday.
And she's going to come down and play with us later.
That's the way he said that. You know, there's something nice about it.
It really is. You know, because, I mean, the president has been so unfairly attacked in the media. It's really outrageous. And I've at this point spent a lot of time with the president, and not once have I seen him do something that was mean or cruel or wrong. Not once.
You know, I've known him for 30 years.
Yeah.
And I've never seen anybody take as much as he's taken.
Yeah.
And we've discussed this, and I'm like, how do you deal with it?
Did I have a choice?
Well, you would say that to me. I'm like, what am I going to do? Worry about it? And, you know, and then culminating in 2 assassination attempts, which resulted in your endorsement.
Well, I was going to do it anyway, but that was
it.
Precipitating event, yes.
That speeded up a little bit?
Yeah.
The day of the assassination.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. I sped it up, but I was going to do it anyway.
Mr. President, with your indulgence, I'm convinced that people only know a little bit about Elon. I don't think they know everything about Elon, because as I studied...
Elon? What is this,
Where is he
Elon?
from the Middle East? Like, what? Hello, I'm Elon Musk.
Elongate.
I learned a lot about you that I didn't know. I think people will think about Tesla. Democrats are demonizing you and trying to make the country hate you. I just want people to understand you a little bit better, and the person that you've gotten to know and have now put a lot of trust in.
Yeah.
And, you know, just let's go over a little bit of your bio, starting with PayPal and how you became involved in Tesla and SpaceX and Neuralink and all these.
A while. I mean, you know, I think the way you think of me is like I'm a technologist, and I try to make technologies that improve the world and make life better.
Your shirt.
Yeah, and that's why I like my T-shirt says tech support, because I'm here to provide the president with technology support. And now that may seem like, well, is that a silly thing? But actually, it's a very important thing, because the president will make these executive orders, which are very sensible and good for the country, but then they don't get implemented. You know, if you take, for example, all the funding for the migrant hotels, the president issued an executive order. Hey, we need to stop taking taxpayer money and paying for luxury hotels for illegal immigrants, which makes no sense. Like, so obviously, people do not want their tax dollars going to fund high-end hotels for illegals. And yet
so did you know this story, Stephanie? What's going on here?
I didn't know that we're paying for hotels for illegal immigrants.
Yes, so it was federal money that was being used to pay to house illegal immigrants in luxury hotels, and they were paying like double the nightly rate to have them there in that hotel. Which if I were a business owner and I owned a hotel and the government was like giving me double, that's what I would demand for putting illegal immigrants up in my hotel.
Right.
But
yeah, I guess I never thought of where the immigrants go when they come to the country. I thought they go to like FEMA camps or something. That's why they're building the FEMA camps, right?
Now they go to Guantanamo Bay. That's the.
Are we using Guantanamo Bay for the illegals now? Oh my goodness.
Yes. So somebody was joking yesterday because they had the White House had released a video of a deportation flight. Here it is, actually. Hold on one second. And they actually released it as ASMR. Get this. It's an ASMR illegal alien flight.
What?
Here they go. I don't know if they're taking them to Guantanamo in this one. Hold on one sec. Here it is. Okay, but it's funny, but here's the thing. They actually released it. See, it says ASMR, illegal alien deportation flight. You're supposed to sit there and listen to that to relax. Can you imagine the type of person who like sits around and is like listening to that and is like, yes.
The MAGA people.
The clink clink,
it's
right?
MAGA ASMR.
The clink clink of the illegals walking up the steps.
Oh,
funny,
my goodness.
funny as hell, man.
If somebody likes dominatrix, I don't know.
And so, we went in there and we're like, this is in violation of the presidential executive order. It needs to stop. So what we're doing here is one of the biggest functions of the DOGE team is just making sure that the presidential executive orders are actually carried out. And this is, I just want to point out, this is a very important thing because the president is the elected representative of the people. So he's representing the will of the people. And if the bureaucracy is fighting the will of the people and preventing the president from implementing what the people want, then what we live in is a bureaucracy and not a democracy.
No. You're both aware, you have to be keenly aware that the media and the punditry class, not that, I think you've proven they have no power anymore because they threw everything they had at you and they didn't win. And that was, the New York Times, Washington Post, 3 networks, every late night comedy show, 2 cable channels. They just threw everything, lawfare, weaponization. Sure. And now I see they want you two to start, they want a divorce. They want you two to start hating each other. And they try, President Elon Musk, for example. You do know that they're doing that to you.
Oh, I see it all the time. They tried it, then they stopped. That wasn't. They have many different things of hatred. Actually, Elon called me. He said, they're trying to drive us apart. I said, absolutely. They said, we have breaking news. Donald Trump has ceded control of the presidency to Elon Musk. President Musk will be attending a cabinet meeting tonight at 8 o'clock. And I say, it's just so obvious. They're so bad at it. I used to think they were good at it. They're actually bad at it because if they were good at it, I'd never be president. Because I think nobody in history has ever gotten more bad publicity than me. I could do the greatest things. I get 98% bad publicity. I could do, outside of you and a few of your very good friends, it's like the craziest thing. But you know what I have learned, Elon? The people are smart. They get it.
Yeah, they do, actually.
They get it. They really see what's happening.
Yes.
And at the end of this interview, what I would like is I want people to know the relationship and know more about you. What is the relationship, Mr. President?
Well, I respect him. I've always respected him. I never knew that he was right on certain things, and I'm usually pretty good at this stuff. He did Starlink. He did things that were so advanced and nobody knew what the hell they were. I can tell you in North Carolina, they had no communication. They were wiped out. Those people were, they had rivers in between. Land that never saw water, all of a sudden it was a river and a vicious, like rapids. People were dying all over. They had no communication. They said, Elon Musk. They didn't really know I knew him. I said, yeah. He said, could you get Starlink? It's like the first time I ever heard of it. I said, what's Starlink? A communication system. That's unbelievable.
I have it.
Yeah. And he said, I called him and I said, listen, they really need it. And he got like thousands of units of this communication, and it saved a lot of lives. He got it immediately, and you can't get it. I mean, you have to wait a long time to get it. But he got it to him immediately, and I said, that's pretty amazing, and I didn't even know he had it. We watched the rocket ships, and we watch Tesla. I think, something that had an effect on me was when I saw the rocket ship come back and get grabbed, like you grab a beautiful little baby. You grab your baby. It just
boy.
Everyone needs a hug, including rockets.
I don't think Elon doesn't want to be talking about babies right now.
Oh, boy. I want to get into Elon's head, too. As a woman, I'm just always fascinated with people's minds.
As a woman?
Yes.
What does as a woman
It's
mean?
A woman thing.
I
think us women always want to figure people out.
Right.
Especially men.
Mm-hmm.
Especially people with Asperger's like Elon. Because it's like he just doesn't show it all because he can't express it. Mm-hmm. Thinking about if you sat down and had coffee with Elon Musk, it would probably be very awkward, I would imagine.
Oh, well, of course.
I was also picturing all of these women that want to sleep with Elon Musk, and I'm like, he probably wouldn't give you the emotional gratification that you want.
Oh, Stephanie.
I really don't think.
Stephanie. You're so sweet.
Just thinking about him in a relationship type of way, I really don't think he's like
Stephanie, do you think that
great.
do you think that they're attracted to him because like relationship stuff? You think that because you are interested in men's emotional state, you think that other women give one goddamn about the emotional state of Elon Musk? Why do you think other women potentially would be interested in Elon Musk, Stephanie?
His success, his money.
Yeah,
but
yes, there we go.
Once they have the child, they want the emotional connection. As you see with Ashley St. Clair, she wants that emotion and he's not giving it to her.
Right.
So don't mess with successful men because they're not always going to give you the emotion.
So what are you saying? What does that mean about me then?
You're different. You have emotion.
It's my birthday, so Stephanie Peterson's hanging out with us today on set.
I'm psychoanalyzing Elon Musk.
Glad to see everybody here. Thanks so much for joining us here on the Wake Up America show. I got a little news ticker at the bottom of the screen. Can you see that over there on the laptop, Steph? Take a look at the laptop. Look at the bottom.
Oh, I see it. What is the news?
Trump pushes new tariffs to boost U.S. revenue. Malay might be under an impeachment threat for a cryptocurrency scheme.
Oh, wow.
Right.
How do you get that news? Do you have to type it yourself?
Nope. I just went over to Grok and I said, give me a news ticker of a certain amount of characters of all the latest breaking news that would be of interest to libertarians and conservatives, and keep it to 233 characters.
Wow.
So it wrote it for me, all the news of what's happening, the latest breaking news this morning. So Grok.
So I will say, in terms of AI, so I use ChatGPT and Grok, and Grok is best at giving you right to the moment news and information. Whereas ChatGPT, they're still back, a couple years ago?
Yeah.
ChatGPT is not aware of what just happened yesterday.
Yeah.
So what I do is I ask Grok about the news and information that I want to know about, and then I put it over into ChatGPT if I want to write an email about it, or I want to, put it more in like a friendly type of way, because Grok gives you information, but they don't always present it in a very casual kind of way if you're trying to relay it to people. So I would say get your info from Grok and then put it into ChatGPT, and it'll make it sound more human-like.
There we go.
Yes.
There you go, Stephanie. You're giving us some AI.
Just from my experience.
Yes. M. Osborne donated $10, says, happy birthday, AP. Wow. And we hardly knew ye.
Yay.
Welcome. And they're a monthly sub as well. Maybe they got one of those Entropy Nomad subs. So
for anybody who just became a monthly sub today, make sure to text us or message us, and we'll give you the super secret code so you can get 20% off in the shop.
Yeah.
Remember, if you're a subscriber, you get 20% off in the shop.
Yep. If you are a monthly sub, which means if you see that little red castle next to your name in the chat, that means that you're a monthly sub. Now you'll have to renew it next month if you got gifted it, but you get the benefits and privileges of membership. You get a 20% discount at forlibertyshop.com. That applies to everything but coffee at the shop. So if you send us a text message there at the phone number that you see on the top right-hand corner of your screen, 573-319-1586 is the text line, and let us know your screen name over there in the chat, and your real name too would be very grateful as well, so that we can keep good records. And
I really
screen names
struggle
are confusing
when
yes.
I reach out to you all. I know your screen name, but then sometimes when I contact you, I find out your real name, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I know you by your real name, and I didn't realize it's you. So it is so confusing.
It can be. So your screen name and your real name, that'd be helpful. Then we will be able to check your record and ensure that you have the monthly sub, and then we will give you the 20% coupon code for you guys to use. While you are a monthly sub, you get to use our 20% code at forlibertyshop.com, and people are loving the merchandise shop. Drew Van Runkle, Fiery Waco, Bruce Burt Whistle, Drew Van Runkle, 1981 says checking. Nice to see you. Everybody is hanging out. We're talking this morning about Donald Trump and Elon Musk on Sean Hannity last night.
This is a really good interview.
Yeah, I think
I'm
it's
actually
interesting.
really interested. Yeah.
And he said, you know, you can't really have a rocket program if you're going to dump $1 billion into the ocean every time you fly. You have to save it.
Right.
And he saved it. First time that I've ever seen that done. And nobody else can do it. If you look at the U.S., Russia, or China, they can't do it. And they won't be able to do it for a long time. He has the technology. So you learn. I wanted somebody really smart to work with me in terms of the country, a very important aspect. Because, I mean, he doesn't talk about it. He's actually a very good businessman. And when he talks about the executive orders, and this is probably true for all presidents, you write an executive order and you think it's done. You send it out. It doesn't get done. It doesn't get implemented. They don't implement it. Maybe they're from the last administration, and they are in some cases. You try and get them out as fast as you can. But I could, as soon as he said that, I said, you know, that's interesting. You write a beautiful executive, and you sign it, and you assume it's
beautiful executive order. Derek Mollier, he subscribed. Welcome to the show. Hey, thanks, Derek. Appreciate that. If you want your coupon code to get 20% off over at forlibertyshop.com, guys, and you are a monthly sub, again, send us a text message at the number that you see in the top of the screen. Text text us with your screen name, and we will get you guys your 20% discount code, okay? Then you can go shopping this today and save a lot of money and have a lot of fun.
And you'll also be entered into monthly giveaways. Mm-hmm. We do them at the end of each month.
So benefits and prizes, lots of fun stuff.
And if you become a $17.76 a month or higher, then you get our Christmas card every year.
Yes, you get on the Peterson special list. That's you even get phone calls from us directly as well. So we try and build a tight-knit community, a healthy community, in order to ensure that the principles of liberty can be advanced in the future for our own little baby. Who is she awake?
She is.
Hazel, yes.
Yeah, she's hanging out in her crib.
All right. Joni Rankins donated $10. Says happy birthday, dear AP. Thank you, Joni. You're very dear as well.
What time is it?
Don't forget, guys.
It's already time.
I know. Don't forget, guys, that 20% discount also does apply to tickets for Washington, D.C.
Yes.
So if you want to join us me, Stephanie, Hazel, and the whole For Liberty Network crew in Washington, D.C., May 1st to the 3rd, use your coupon codes to get 20% off those tickets. Save a lot of money on your tickets to Washington, D.C., and get some upgrades as well. We'll I guess, see you guys. I'll be back here tomorrow. It's my birthday, so I'm taking the rest of the day off.
Yay, and I'll be back Friday.
And Stephanie will be back on Friday. Stephanie, thank you very much for all you did to get ready for us this morning. The beautiful card with all the sweet little nothings in there. We're going skiing this weekend, aren't we?
Yeah, with the family, the Peterson fam.
Yeah, they actually have a hill high enough to ski on here in Missouri.
It's apparently on a bluff.
Yeah, there's a couple of Missouri ski spots. So
I wonder why they don't have it at the Ozark Mountains. They should have us skiing down the Ozark Mountains.
I don't know. It's a good question. I don't know. We'll see you guys right back here tomorrow. Hope you have a wonderful day. Thanks for all the generous donations and all of the well wishes on my birthday, guys. We'll see you right back here tomorrow on the Wake Up America show on the For Liberty Network.
Be free.
Tired of spending your hard-earned money on woke corporations that don't share your pro-freedom values? Fed up with sipping liberal lattes and progressive cappuccinos? Introducing Founding Flavors from AP For Liberty Shop. Get your day started with Washington's Revolutionary Roast. As robust and principled as the man himself, this blend is the shot of energy heard round the world. Or maybe you want to taste the fervor of freedom with Adams's Patriotic Perk. It's as dynamic and balanced as the U.S. Constitution, sure to awaken your spirit of liberty. For the aficionados, we've got the Jeffersonian Java, a complex mix of flavors that speaks volumes about your refined tastes. And don't forget Betsy's Liberty Lullaby, our decaf option, crafted with the same care and dedication Betsy Ross put into our Star-Spangled Banner. This blend lets you enjoy the taste of freedom anytime without losing sleep. No woke beans here, folks. Just pure, patriotic, pro-freedom flavors brewed with love for liberty. So why compromise your principles for a cup of coffee? Stand up for your values, perk up your patriotism, and start your day the American way. Get your founding flavors at apforlibertyshop.com.